The animal mutilation mystery has been around for a long time, but even with thousands of cases and reports from nearly every state in the nation, answers are still hard to come by.
Nevada ranchers have been victimized by the mystery surgeons for more than 30 years, although a majority of cases are never reported at all. The suspects include devil worshippers and UFOs.
Well, new evidence is emerging that may provide a clue. George Knapp of the I-Team's been digging into this for several years. He's here now with the latest.
Seems like forever, doesn't it?
We're talking about it.
It's not just 10,000 unsolved cases, it's 10,000 unsolved felonies. Killing livestock is a crime, and it happens a lot more than we hear about, in part because ranchers would rather bury the evidence than file a report, and also because people just chalk it up to some UFO weirdness. The most recent incident happened 2 days ago in Saskatchewan. Admittedly, we have a fondness for unsolved mysteries around here. This time, there might be a less exotic but equally disturbing explanation. A word of warning, some of the photos in this story are graphic, and we're not kidding.
The more I started to look at it, as soon as I got up to it, I could tell that it was something far more outrageous.
Las Vegas rancher Bonnie Martin isn't a UFO nut or conspiracy buff, but when she discovered a carved-up steer carcass in her backyard in 1994, she had to think long and hard.
This is your house. How far would you estimate it is from your house?
100 feet.
Nobody heard anything?
In the dead of night, someone or something crept onto the Martins' property, just yards from where the family was sleeping, and removed the sex organs and other parts from a 700-pound steer without alerting anyone in this quiet Northwest Valley neighborhood.
I don't see anything on this side.
Garth Lamb had never seen anything like it in his 23 years as a veterinarian. He says the mystery surgeon used special tools.
It appears to be something very sharp. I mean, if I was going to remove, say, a cancerous growth or something here, we'd use a scalpel blade like this.
Lamb kept the skull from the Martin mutilation and found someone had cut a piece of thick bone from behind the ear, but he doesn't know how.
The things that they remove, the way that it's done, is not just a random slashing type mutilation. So there is some form of reason behind this. What it is, I don't know.
The same questions have stumped thousands of ranchers and lawmen in virtually every part of the U.S. The so-called mutilations have been going on since the 60s. The telltale signs are now part of modern mythology. No tracks, no blood left in or around the animal, no cause of death, the same parts taken from cattle, horses, deer, and other animals over and over. The steer that was mutilated on the Martin Ranch was obtained weeks before from a ranch in Lincoln County, an area which has experienced mutilation since the 70s, probably longer. The Buckhorn Ranch, once owned by late Senator Floyd Lamb, was victimized twice.
That is that they'll take a bull, a male bull, and cut him all up and dissect him, and I don't know I don't understand that. Some kook.
The same kind of kook has been operating in Lander County, where one particular ranch has been visited by the mystery mutilators 7 times in this decade alone. Sheriff's investigators say predators are not to blame, nor are devil worshippers. But what about the government?
I've heard that theory, but why leave the carcasses where they can be found?
We're talking about tens, literally tens of thousands of cases, nationally and worldwide. No one's ever been arrested. Nobody's ever been prosecuted. No charges have ever been brought against anybody for this. No one's ever been caught.
Ted Oliphant is a filmmaker living in Las Vegas, but in the early 90s, he was an Alabama police officer caught in the middle of a mutilation epidemic. Dozens of animals were sliced up in the night. Ranchers suspected a connection to weird lights in the sky, but along with the UFOs, there were helicopters, a lot of them, as if someone was monitoring the mutilators.
In some cases, it almost seems like we've been in a race with the helicopters to see who can get to the animal's carcass first.
We don't have any hard evidence of who is actually doing the monitoring. We do have, I think we have a lot of evidence to say that the monitoring has been going on.
Biochemist Dr. Colin Kelleher spent several years studying the mutilation mystery for NIDS, the National Institute of Discovery Science, founded by Las Vegas businessman Robert Bigelow. The NIDS team investigated dozens of cases in western states and began to suspect there may be 2 different groups at work, an unknown force that's been dissecting animals for a long time and a very human agency that's been mimicking the first group group, perhaps as a way to track the progress of something as it moves through the food chain. The sheer weirdness factor would make it unlikely anyone would investigate.
That's a way of hiding things in plain sight, essentially. You've built up a tabloid industry surrounding the whole cattle mutilation thing, that it's instantly disparaged as absolute BS. No serious scientist will take it seriously.
In a handful of cases, physical evidence had been obtained that makes it clear some sneaky humans are carrying this out as opposed to beef-loving ETs. Tomorrow night at 11, we'll tell you about that evidence. Plus, the big question, if there is a monitoring program, what exactly are they monitoring? What's in our food that would be worth going to this much trouble?